with red ribbons neatly tied around her braided hair. Tia, a bright-eyed, excited and confident little girl, entered school. A new world, tons of friends to make, new teachers, the smell of new books, sparkling school bag and accessories gave her joy and the fresh feeling. Tia was this ever-impatient child, always trying to learn and see different things. A go-getter, always on her toes, trying to grab everyone's attention and prove her mettle to her family and live up to their exceeding expectations every day. She always tried to give her best, be the perfect in everything, give that extra push to finish her homework on time, to stretch a bit further so that her hands could reach the top of the blackboard, to make sure she hops on the stage at every given opportunity, be it singing, dancing, fancy dress, poetry, elocution, name that extracurricular activity, and she was game for it. Her confidence was at its peak at that point in life. The rest of the class would see her as the born leader, the one always taking charge, even bullying people at times. But inside she was the softie, a little girl who was scared too, about the smallest of things. Usually everyone's favorite and the teacher's pet, one day Tia looked a little troubled. Then her favorite teacher decided suddenly to play smart with her. She said, "We're not sending you home today, Tia. As a punishment, we will lock you back in the classroom itself." Shocked at the very thought of being all alone and locked in the class, tears started rolling down Tia's eyes, followed by little shrieks. As and when a few moments passed, her cries got louder and the pleading to let her go home turned wilder. Tia was merely frightened at the thought of how her mom would react and where all will she look for her. At that time, there were a lot of scary stories of kids being kidnapped and locked away in the school for days as an accident. Throughout the next 20 minutes, the flow of her teardrops increased. Her school uniform was half wet and nose red as a tomato. And little did she know that someone's eyes were only looking at her, while the classmates kept wondering and giving her the confused look, wondering why she crying, as there were 10 more minutes left for school to get over. Tia was in her own remorse, imagining what the hell will break loose on her family if she doesn't reach home on time. She didn't realize that everyone else is still there, and the final prayers of the school had not been said. That probably means school is not over yet. Finally, after a few minutes, the last bell rang. Some realization dawned upon Tia. Her teacher gave her a sheepish and mocking smile, announcing that now was the time to go home, and she had learnt her lesson well. A wave of change appeared on Tia's face. Still confused and a little dumbfounded, she wiped her tears, grabbed her bag and water bottle to make way to the school bus that was waiting at the gate. She ran as fast as she could and grabbed a window seat, catching her breath and sipping onto the water profusely, waiting to get home to tell her mom the nightmare she had witnessed. Tia was still moved by the whole incident. She did realize that she must have made a fool out of herself in front of her classmates, for whom she was otherwise the brave monitor and the fierce, confident self always. She somehow avoided eye contact with everyone in the bus that evening and kept staring out the window, just being thankful that she was finally getting to go home. Overlooking the whole scene earlier was a silent spectator, sitting in awe and a wee bit surprised at how foolish he acted that day. His spectacled eyes kept looking at her from the last bench, wondering what had suddenly gone into her. Why was she crying a river for no apparent reason and softly laughing at her too? But deep inside, he felt bad for Tia. He wanted to console her and tell her, "It's all right. You will get to go home. We're in the same bus, and if I'm here, you'll leave with me, right?" He was Roy, a plump, starry-eyed, shy boy. Creative, imaginative, and mostly lost in his own thoughts. Always had an innocent grin about him. Roy was always fond of Tia, irrespective of how she behaved with him. Her bold streak and dominance intrigued him, Tia would occasionally sit next to him in class and exchange a smile and notes once in a while. She was way too innocent to realize what Roy felt for her. At a tender age of 8 years, where you're hardly aware of the world around you, Roy had already started liking Tia. He would notice her perform on stage, see her excel in studies. Roy was simply awestruck and just happy to be around her. Tia, on the other hand, knew he existed. Their mothers were friends and they lived in the same neighborhood, and she was familiar and acquainted to him. Tia somehow did have a homely feeling about Roy, but then again would get busy improving her talent to the rest of the school. A couple of years passed. Roy and Tia would occasionally bump into each other at times as classmates, on the same bench, or generally catching a glimpse of each other during the morning assembly in the school. Tia became busier and popular in school, thanks to her good grades and perpetual presence on the stage. Roy would still manage to get happy seeing her around. His attempt at having small conversations with her would end up at asking for the school bus, studies, books, or how exactly her exams went. Then suddenly one day the teacher announced that Roy was leaving the school. His parents were moving to a new house which was far away, and hence Roy had to be shifted to another school. Tia was surprised hearing about it, and she would like seeing Roy, his goofy smile and his brightly lit up spectacled eyes, whenever they spoke to each other. Roy looked sad, literally being dragged away from his schoolmates as he waved goodbye to the class and walked out holding his mom's hands. Tia came back home, a little perplexed and sad, told her mom that Roy left school, while her mom politely said, "Yes, Tia, at times you have to move places. He will have to move wherever his parents go." Tia was back to school the very next day, being herself again. But something, somewhere, was amiss. A little void that had formed that no one was aware of. Roy, on the other hand, was sad that he would miss seeing Tia the most, apart from his favorite English teacher that he had a major crush on. He kept her memories alive within him. He kept the pencil Tia shared with him once in class, the time he held her hand and kept smiling like an idiot, and the mental picture of a cute little smile in his starry spectacled eyes. He did not have much of a choice but to leave and move to another school and start a new life there. A tiny little spark of a connection was left incomplete. A little crush that could not see the light of the day. A cute little puppy love story that seemed to have ended before it could start. But then, you never know what destiny has in store for you.